let's see if we have the same predictions for our next topic.
Okay. All right. Week 2, Raiders versus Bills. Go for it, Mike. This is all you.
Yeah, I'll save. No, you know what? I'm gonna start with my prediction right now. Are you ready for this, Josh?
Yeah.
We're gonna fucking lose. No, I mean, you know what? I think we should lose. Anything can happen. Um, I mean, look at the Jets game that just finished with the Bills, right? I thought the Bills, once Aaron Rodgers went down, the Bills should have trampled them, but the Jets defense kept them in, which will probably not be the same for the Raiders. But perhaps the Raiders offense can keep them in the game against the Bills, and a la the Broncos game, get a couple stops when needed and remain efficient on offense, the Raiders, and score hopefully more touchdowns and less field goals, you know, and no turnovers, way less penalties, and perhaps they have a chance. It really comes down to how much pressure can you put on Josh Allen. How often can you keep him inside of the pocket and not scrambling up the middle or, rolling out, and then whether he runs or makes a magical play. This game is in Buffalo. That's going to be their home opener, so the crowd's going to be fired up, and they're gonna need a win after losing to the Jets. So, and they're probably going to be a pretty pissed off team after losing the way that they did against the Jets. So,
Mhm.
I
Real
expect a
quick.
pretty. Go ahead.
No. Finish.
Well, I expect a different looking Bills team than what we just saw tonight on Monday Night Football.
I agree with that, but real quick, I want to say if you live in the Buffalo area, you might want to run out to your nearest Costco and buy as many folding tables if you need them because they are going to be sold out for their home opener this year. The clock is ticking on their old stadium, and uh, I think that they're going to go through some tables, and maybe Max Crosby might take Josh Allen into the parking lot and throw him through a table or two. But we'll see. I agree with what you said about we're going to see probably a different Bills team than we saw, just a couple hours ago against the Jets. I think that they prepared for Rodgers and probably didn't know what to expect out of Brees Hall, and the Jets were able to get chunk plays and whatnot. And I'm not saying that Zach Wilson's a better quarterback, but it's like you prepare a certain way all week, or at least all off season, because this is week 1,
Mm.
and you get something entirely different. It's not necessarily the recipe for success. Clearly, they probably had a better chance of beating the Jets with Wilson than they did with Rodgers, but I'm just saying it's a tough situation to, all the film that you watched and all the studying that you did, just like kind of just throw that out the window because it's like, uh, same thing for the Jets too. They had to adjust their game plan and call things differently. I'm sure Garrett Wilson didn't get as much volume as he was supposed to get, but it's a different animal, and I sort of feel this way about Josh Allen. I don't think he's been as good since he had the UCL injury. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was.
And I feel like it was early last year.
Mhm. Yeah.
It couldn't have been before that big Chiefs game. It had to be last season.
I think it was last season at a certain point, but uh, yeah, I haven't felt the same way about Josh Allen since then. I've noticed that he's turned the ball over much more, and I don't know if we're starting to see him come back down to earth because he was like top of the game, you know, like crazy good. I really don't know what it is, but this to me kind of screams one of those years where the Bills might be a little up and down, and similar to the 49ers back when it was like Harbaugh's last season. The Bills are kind of giving me those vibes a little bit. At least after losing today, I'm like, man, this is a game that they should have won.
Yeah, but I mean, the Jets defense is legit. I just I'm not going to overreact to like Josh Allen's performance or the Cincinnati Bengals performance. I think they're all gonna bounce back. Um, I,
I do agree they're going to bounce back this week. I feel like the Bills are still a better team than the Raiders.
mhm.
But it's not going to matter if the Raiders somehow squeak out a victory on Sunday and Josh McDaniels has a pretty good game plan. But I see the Bills coming off this loss today. It's probably fired up that locker room, and they are going to be ready to play on. Is it Sunday?
Yeah, it'll be Sunday. It should be 10 a.m. Western. I could be wrong. Pacific, whatever you want to call it. I will say, as far as relating them to the Jim Harbaugh final season Niners, I mean, the difference here is they have the franchise quarterback, whereas the Niners at that time had Kaepernick going downhill statistically and visually.
No,
And
at that
then they
time,
had
Kaepernick was the franchise guy.
what
In Harbaugh's last year, there was no question that it was Kaepernick.
but I feel like he was trending downwards, and I mean, maybe it was the following season
The
when it was
following
like
season,
clear, but still, I mean, I don't remember what the Niners record was that year, but it wasn't good.
it
That's
was 8
why
and
they
8.
completely blew up. Yeah, but still, I don't see the Bills doing that. They're not going to blow up the team like that Harbaugh team did. And I don't see them missing the playoffs. I see a lot of people hyping up the Jets pre Aaron Rodgers injury, but I don't. I think the team. Well, now hindsight kind of 2020 here, but I just think the team that was going to put fear in the Bills' eyes was the Dolphins, not the Jets. I get that the Jets just beat them, but and their defense is very good, but the Dolphins have the firepower to do anything, you know. And if their defense can come together at the end of the season with Jalen Ramsey, it can really get hot. But we're talking about the Bills.
Question about
Yeah,
the Bills. So you're saying, or at least we can both agree that maybe Josh Allen might be on the decline.
I'm not going to overreact yet. Give it the end of the season, maybe we can compare him to Kaepernick, but I don't see that happening. His arm talent, his consistency has been too damn good.
Like, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I just don't know if maybe he's been figured out, or he's dealing with something in his arm because he never got surgery on the UCL. Like, I really don't know what's going on, but I know that Stephen A. Smith believes that Stephon Diggs doesn't want to be with the Bills anymore. He
Yeah,
said he's got sources that tell him that he wants out, but he'll play with the Bills, but he doesn't want to be there. I don't know, where there's smoke, there might be fire.
right. Yeah, I mean, we'll see this year. I would much rather see the Bills win the Super Bowl than most teams in the AFC, um, and NFC, to be quite honest. But we'll see how it goes. Um, as far as this game, really for the Raiders, for them to succeed, um, I feel like these two teams are going to be game planning against each other, and the Raiders probably, especially obviously McDaniels and Patrick Graham, probably watched this Jets game and said, "Okay, we're going to have to do a lot of that." What the Jets did, um, more specifically on defense, and I don't know if our corners are up for the task of playing like Sauce Gardner, but you're going to have to play. You're going to have to do really, really good on defense to shut down a guy like Stephon Diggs. Good luck. You also have Gabe Davis, who's a 80-yard touchdown any given play sort of guy. Um, they have some pretty solid tight ends in there, and then James Cook is kind of a little wild card at running back. So I don't know. the defense needs to make stops when they need to make the stops. I feel like this is going to be one of those bend don't break defenses, but occasionally they're going to break, um, specifically in the red zone. I think Josh Allen will have his way with the defense for the most part. If we can get turnovers like the Jets did, maybe not 4, but like if the Raiders can get 2 turnovers in this game and remain efficient on offense, limit penalties, and score touchdowns. Don't kick field goals, score touchdowns. They can win this game. That's not out of the possibility at all. It's just I see the Bills being a pissed off team, and again the home opener, but we'll see. And you know what the big key here is? I think the Bills will focus on shutting down the pass offense for the Raiders and really shutting down the 2 outside receivers, Myers and Devontae, and that's even if Myers plays. So what really needs to happen is the Raiders need to develop the run game in this game. They need to run the ball. And the Jets were clearly able to do that with Breece Hall. So if the Raiders can see some of that and get Jacobs to go similar to Breece Hall in this Jets game, then, they have a chance.
Mm-hmm. I just want to quickly clarify. I'm not saying that Josh Allen is regressing. I'm saying it's possible that his career might not be as great as it was, which might signify that he's probably regressing, or I don't know if he was just playing at such an unreal level for as long as he did, and he might be plateauing a little bit at a slightly lower ceiling, right? Or at least lower level, like normal, consistent level of play. I'm just saying he didn't look good tonight. And, the last time we saw him, was that the playoff game against the Chiefs, the big shootout?
The last time that we saw him what?
Play a meaningful game.
Meaningful, sure. But, we could go back and look at the Bills' schedule from last season.
He was fine last year.
He was great. I'm not going to overreact to week 1. Same with the Bengals, and even the Chiefs. I'm not expecting them to be like a losing team or nothing. It's just it's week 1. Shit happens. Some teams are going to be rusty. I think Josh Allen was one of those quarterbacks that didn't play in the preseason, and I know you made a big point about teams being rusty coming out when they don't play their starters, and I think to a degree that's a thing. And even Geno Smith was one of those guys, I think, did not play in the preseason. So that's 3 guys that didn't play in the preseason and fucking sucked. So week 1. So I'm not going to overreact to it, but we'll see how it goes for those types of players.
You've convinced me, Mike. I am going to say Josh Allen is not regressing, but I am a little concerned and intrigued about the Stephon Diggs thing that Stephen A. Smith was talking about. That to me is like, why wouldn't Stephon Diggs want to play with Josh Allen?
Right. I think it. We'll see.
Assuming this is true.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is I got to see it from more people than just Stephen A. Smith, who's never really reported a thing, or at least never been known for reporting things. I will say, to kind of bring it back to the elbow thing, like there is a point to be made about. I'm sure Purdy's was much more.
It was fully
major. It was a more major injury than Josh Allen's, and Allen's was able to heal. But there is maybe something to be said about Purdy having a successful surgery and Josh Allen never having the surgery, and I'm pretty sure playing on it. So there could be something there, but I don't think that relates to the whole Stephon Diggs thing. I think I think the Stephon Diggs stuff is kind of a non-story until we clearly see issues arising for him this season.
Yeah. So final predictions for Raiders versus Bills. I think the Bills are going to win. I think we said it before, but they're going to come in angry, and I just see them taking a W here at home. And you?
Yeah, I think the Bills should win. If I had to predict it, I would say they will win, but I don't think it will be as bad as expected. Like I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are going to go into this game thinking, "Oh, they're pissed off. They got to win this game. It's going to be 40 to 13 Bills."
Oh, I don't see a blowout. I
No.
really don't
I
see a blowout. Honestly,
I think
I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
well, it really comes down to the penalties and mistakes by the Raiders. If they can limit that to hopefully nothing, um the Raiders could be in this game in the final 4 minutes of the game, I think.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
I'm hoping for a, I wouldn't say shootout because they'll definitely lose that, but I'm hoping for a really nice, fun back and forth game where the Raiders are in it in the end of the game.
Mhm. The keys to the game for the Raiders, if they are going to win this football game, will be it will be uh, they have to control the pace of the game. They can't let the Bills play at their pace.
Yep.
And I feel like the Bills are a team that will struggle to play at someone else's pace than their own. Where the Bills are in their bread and butter is like when they're getting anything that they want. Um, if the Raiders can control the time of possession, and they have to score the ball, they got to put the ball in the end zone. They need at least 3 touchdowns this week to win, and
Probably 4.
yeah, at least 3.
Yeah.
And the defense has to make timely stops. I mean, it's the key to success to any football game, really.
Yeah.
But um, let's see. I mean, it's going to be a lot of this is going to be on Josh McDaniels. For him to get the team prepared in order to win. Because I would say on paper, uh, I don't know if there's any way that the Bills should lose to the Raiders. No offense. I think it's mainly the level of quarterback.
Yeah, no,
But
I agree. And the level of defense, you know.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Raiders just need to control the tempo of the game,
Yeah.
the
I
tone.
think I completely agree with everything you said. I think it comes down to the tempo. It comes down to the defense making timely stops, especially towards the end of the game, like they did against the Broncos. It comes down to the run game with Josh Jacobs, and obviously the efficiency of Jimmy Garoppolo. And if Jacoby Myers doesn't play, I think it's going to come down to this guy right here, Devontae Adams. I think
Or
this is a game
Hunter
where
Renfro.
yeah, I mean, honestly, that's my thing. Is this will be my last point. If the Bills are game planning based off of a lot of what they saw from Week 1, they're going to see that the Raiders only targeted Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, and then gave Austin Hooper one 20-yard target at the end of the game. Other than that, Michael Mayer and Hunter Renfro didn't get any targets. I think DeAndre Carter got a couple. Um, so if the Raiders want to do something special on offense, they're going to have to mix it up and not just target Devontae Adams. And again, I think part of that can be getting the run game going and getting it to be more successful than averaging 2.5 yards a carry. If they can do some of that and maybe throw more to the tight ends, throw more a little deeper, they can mix it up and throw off the Bills defense a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's all for the preview of the Raiders versus Bills. I think we just have to see it happen and see how it unfolds, and we can talk about it next week.